Me 34M with my wife 32F of 5 years. I know she's cheating on me, I can't bring myself to confront her. I 34 meters met my wife 32F 7 years ago at a party. She was the out of your league girl no one hit on, and I was the awkward boy in the corner trying to not stare. Eventually she was introduced to me by the host, we bonded over a shared love of darts, went on a few dozen platonic outings together, and after one beer and darts-filled night a year later we wound up in her bed and in a relationship. A year later she proposed to me. She's the power person in our relationship. I am working as a chocolatier, she's a vice president in a larger corporation. She works long days and longer nights, I cook and keep the house clean, and work 5 days a week in a small artisanal shop downtown. We're pretty high-end, so I am making good money, but she's making way more than twice of my salary. So she buys the toys for the house, including a new set-top box for the TV. The set-top box has a screensaver mode where it rotates pictures in your Apple photo library. Last week, she was still at work, I came home from my day and the TV, which I'd used to watch a YouTube video that morning and definitely had turned off, was on screensaver. On it were pictures that must come from her phone, showing her, in our living room, one of our female friends, and a guy I've never met in very implicit poses. The pictures moved around the room, so I think there must have been a fourth person, taking pictures with her phone, but I didn't see that person. What was weird, was that she was wearing a bandage on her hand, something she'd done that morning after complaining about RSI. I left the TV on and was very shocked, but decided to leave the screensaver and see what she had to say when she came home later that evening. When she came home, the pictures seemed to have disappeared, they haven't shown up anymore since then on the TV. I asked her if she'd been home during the day, because the TV was on, and she said she'd come home during lunch to pick up a USB stick she'd forgotten in her computer at home. I tried to ask her about the pictures, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. Now, I have to add something. I am not a very experienced person in S-time matters. I am an introvert and barely had relationships before her. Our S-time life is though, even for my experiences, very vanilla. I never have had S-time in my life before and only twice since we met. Suggesting it to her usually meant that she'd lecture me about not doing those things, and S-time for the night was a no-go. In those pictures she did all the things she never wanted to do with me. Since that day I have tried to confront her a number of times. She stays out longer, lately not just since last week, for the past 4 months maybe, and she's often too tired for anything romantic, even just cuddling. And when she comes home she often disappears in her office and comes to bed long after I have fallen asleep. But even during the time we had together, like this weekend, I can't bring myself to confront her. I am worried about what I might hear and what this would mean for our relationship. I still love her very much and can't imagine a life without her. How can I summon the courage to do this? Is there a way out of this? Update me 34M with my wife 32F of 5 years. I know she's cheating on me, I can't bring myself to confront her. So, lots to tell. First off, however, a few things. Before I wrote this, I didn't know what a red pill was. Now I do. I kind of wish I didn't, but a few dozen messages kind of made that happen. You know those debt solution letters you get when you're known to the county to owe money? That's how those things came in, fast and furious. Some others assumed that my throwaway having the word red and it meant that I was a sock puppet for them. I am not. I don't think they've got a solution that isn't worse than the problem it pretends to fix. Well, what happened? I left the house that evening for a walk, she wasn't home, and called around for lawyers. It was pretty late already and I got a lot of voicemail, but one picked up. She asked me to get Mount financial statements and a lot of other things together and see her the next morning. I then decided to confront my wife that evening. That didn't happen. She came home very late and disappeared to take a bath almost right away. I snuck into her office and took her phone out from her purse. It had a fingerprint scanner, but her PIN was the same as she uses for the garage and our safe, which she set up, so that was easy. There was nothing on the phone that I could find. Pictures in Apple Photos and Google Photos were all from things we'd done together and some for her job. No messages or so, either. Just as I wanted to put the phone back, Her bag buzzed. She has another phone. That one is an Android and had a pattern, so I couldn't log in. But on the screen was a message, phone number only, no name, with a 3 on it. Put that back. Decided to postpone confrontation until after lawyer, but took a photo of the message. Next morning I talked to the lawyer and she spent about half an hour to just go over possible outcomes and what I can expect next, then another 45 minutes talking about finances and so. We don't have kids and she's the big earner, so I stand to either be just out of the relationship or be out and owed some money. It'll be months, maybe even more than a year, until all this is dealt with. Takes 5 minutes to marry, a year to unmarry, it seems. I'd walked by my work and told boss and I was sick. I look like Esset, from not sleeping and some crying, so that was pretty convincing. We work in food, being sick is a bad idea at that job. Went home and unplugged the Apple TV and took it to a friend who runs a small computer store. He confirmed what you'd told me, the pictures on the screensaver are from her Apple photos. He's also the first I told and he immediately offered me to stay at his place with his wife and kids if I had to leave for a while. Then he called the number the text on my wife's other phone came from and told me a guy named Rob had answered it. Walked home and texted her if she'd be home for dinner. She texted back that she'd have to do some extra work and it could be late, so I told her to please make an exception and come home. I had important news. We'd been looking for a house for a while. I figured she'd think I finally found one. Well, dinner came and went, and she didn't show. She came home around 10, smelling of cigarettes. She was all happy and asked me what I wanted to talk about, so I asked her to sit down. I'm 99% to making something up about a house and avoid the confrontation, but then, I guess for the first time, I felt a little anger. So I told her. I said I know you've been cheating for a while, now. I've been working with an attorney and we'll have to talk about these things at some point, so now is as bad a time for that as ever. She didn't blow up and deny it. She just deflated and started to shake. A lot of your PMs, my attorney, and my friend, all told me not to press for details, and not put that on me as well. But I really wanted to know, so I said tell me about Rob. She told me they'd met through and the friend on the couch with her and wanted to have time with him while he had a crush on my wife, so they hatched this Foursome plan. That was 14 months ago. Apparently they've since included Rob's wife, that's the mysterious fourth person who took the pictures, who is polyamorous with that Rob guy. The picture thing was solved, too. She'd handed the wife her phone to take a few pictures and didn't remember the whole screen blanker thing. When she was at work, she'd uploaded them and deleted them from the phone. By then, by chance, I'd seen them. She had the second phone for precisely the reasons I thought, as one that isn't on our shared contract where I couldn't see the incoming and outgoing calls in my statement. She also had short affairs with other women and a few men, and most of her weekend work things were actually her and Rob going on short trips together. Through all this, it felt like she was giving me as much detail as she could in an effort to hurt me. And it worked, but I think I kept a pretty good poker face. I told her that I would leave the house, that I had photographed and cataloged everything and was hoping for an amicable separation. She simply declined, told me she'd leave and take a hotel for the time being, and put her keys on the table. She packed a few things and left. That was it. As this one guy Ugluster says, it was like the dentist, it hurt less than I thought it would but still hurt damn much. Today I have about 15 missed calls from her and 150 plus messages, all asking me for forgiveness and if we could make it work again. I agreed to meet her next week, but only to divide our possessions. As far as I am concerned, this is over. Except for my one friend no one knows, yet, and I want to wait with making it public knowledge while I sort my stuff here and decide how I go from here. Might actually be hitting the gym, no intentions for a rebound relationship, and the rest we'll see. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, we work in food. You work in chocolate. Don't short sell it by saying food. Lol. Sounds like your wife knows she ducked up and feels bad about it, but don't give in. She clearly didn't feel bad about it when she was having time with all those people. Good on you for standing up for yourself and doing what you had to. May you emotionally recover swiftly and your next relationship be excellent. Redditor follow up, She didn't feel bad about doing it, she's been doing it for over a year. She feels bad because she got caught. She threw out all that essence she did to opt to hurt him and make him feel badly about himself. If she actually felt sorry, she would have stopped after the first time and told him. Not gone to the point where she bought another phones. For God's sakes, the amount that went into cheating proves what a piece of essence she is. I just feel so bad for Op. God. I can't imagine going through that. Redditor 2, hey, I'm sorry. This crap hurts no matter who you are. I hope you all the best. Remember to talk to your friends and explain that you guys are getting a divorce. Tell them as much or as little as you want to, but build a support network for yourself. You may not feel that you need it now, but one day reality will hit and it will hurt bad. It's always good to have that one friend you know will pick up at 2 a.m. and just listen. Internet hugs, it will get better. You will find someone one day who will blow your ex out of the water and make you wonder why you spent so much time with someone who couldn't make you a priority. Redditor follow up. Agree. Also, don't feel like you owe anything to her. You don't have to pretend or lie to salvage her image. She is a cheater and she is the one that will come out looking bad if the truth comes out, not you. Let her deal with the consequences of her actions. Hugs Op. Wish you the best. Redditor 3, glad you took the step, man. And thanks for the shout out. Now I get tested for STD. Urgently. Then, B, get your ass in a gym, it's good for the happy hormones, and then C, send me a box of your chocolates, because reasons. Redditor 4, bet the texts and phone calls came when she tried to go to one of her paramours to stay be with romantically, and they turned her down. Redditor follow up, solid call. She's going to be an emotional shit show, and her duck buddies want none of that.